Right, hi everyone, I'm Kieran Leon. I'm a principal at DesignInc Architects, and the Glenroy Community Hub is a project which I was involved with right from the start through its completion. I feel really privileged to have been involved with this project working with Merri-Bek City Council and working really closely with them. It's a project which is for a really deserving community. At Glenroy, it provides them with access to a number of services that were previously underrepresented at end of life, and really provides opportunities and connection for them to access these things. So there's some really amazing sustainability things that we've achieved for this project and continuing to track towards. But it's the first public community building in Australia to achieve Passive House certification, which is, I was there, it was an incredible effort and achievement to get to. We're also, it's the only building that's type to seek Living Building Challenge PIDL certification. The PIDLs which we've focused on for this one were beauty, equity and energy. The energy PIDL means that we've not only got a building which will be net zero energy, it's actually designed to be energy positive. We're tracking and reporting that, but look, there's some amazing ambitions, and these things are really great and really, really exciting. But most of all, what I love is that this project's about people. It's about providing and supporting the Glenroy community. Wide range of users, and we can bring together libraries with public spaces and dealing with everyone from community health through to youth services. So our focus was to provide a building which could really support and provide the best outcomes and access for these services for people. In the year since the hub has been opened, visitation has significantly increased from previous facilities which have had some of the children's story times more than tripled, and attendance of student staff there who are choosing to come and work in this community hub rather than work from home or other offices that they have access to. So we've had kind of resounding positive feedback. From the outset in this project, we wanted to create a building which could connect people, place and nature. And what we've created here, I believe, is it's a building that functions like a forest. We've got a supporting, protective canopy that filters the external environment and really supports and provides for the multitude of functions and services that occur within the building with a really diverse user group. When we started with this building, we have everything from really technical specific spaces, so community health, all the way through to really flexible youth services and a whole bunch of things in between. So it's really important that we engaged really meaningfully with the stakeholders that we had. So how we approached that was a number of strategies, and these are the things that we carried through from the outset of the project to be really generous and inclusive with how we approached the project. I'm not going to dwell over these things too long, but the idea of starting with what the nature on the site and also the nature of the site was. We had some heritage buildings which we needed to incorporate from the original Glenroy Primary. The site is a little bit detached from the centre of Glenroy, so how you would activate and create this as a destination within Glenroy, the experiences of connecting through and within nature. The stakeholders in here really took the idea of a garden experience. Nature is something that really unites a lot of people, and how the difference between a public space for events and festivals or a more private space which is about security and safety and healing would be appropriate. Every building seeks to unite community and make everyone friends, but it was also really important that this building was a place that people could be alone with others as well. Of course, we have to look towards the future, the adaptability and flexibility, but resiliency of this building as well. And through some of the things that we've achieved through performance, this building can become a place where community can come in case of natural disasters as refuge. It can function for up to 7 days without external power or even solar working as well. So from a site response urban perspective, this building really needed to negotiate between the civic presence that faces the Bridget Shore Reserve, which is adjoining, and this reserve was actually part of our project to revitalise that. So we needed to create this destination in place, but then also be respectful and sensitive to the residential neighbours which we had to the north and south on the adjoining streets which we had. The arbour is a continuation of the internal structure of the building. It creates a welcoming and playful gesture towards the park, bringing people and giving them a place to stop on the way into the building, but also providing a real focal point in the case of festivals. And we have the Glenroy Festival as an annual event, which is on this parkland here. The planning of the building had to be really carefully considered between public and private uses and how they might be shared. We've got a number of operators that work on, they've got different hours hours of operation and how they work both with public spaces and interact with each other was a careful kind of, you can imagine the matrix that you might sort of build as to the opportunities that they would create. They've never been co-located before. And a fundamental decision was to turn the library into the foyer space and a public space, or a welcoming area. It allowed us to be more generous with some of the library spaces by bringing that circulation. We had a strict area schedule which we had to comply with, but we can actually have some flexibility with that. And then also create a space where people didn't feel like they needed to check in at a reception desk when they arrived, and truly feel welcome. Biophilic design principles were really rigorously used throughout the process of this project. We talked about it being about people, we talked about nature. It's known that the positive impacts you can have on the health and well-being for people. Some of these things are more obvious, like internal planting, use to nature. Other things are integrated through structural solutions, which, you know, depending on how you look at it, you might say that they're evocative of a tree canopy through the quality of natural daylight that we're getting through clear-story windows, through the vertical windows to the outside, as well as a carefully selected material palette, which is inspired by nature, but also robust and tactile and familiar for people. So, thank you. External spaces, we have more than 100 children Monday to Friday at the Early Learning Centre, and the opportunities that they have to learn and play in nature. Some of those tree trunks that you see the kids climbing on were some of the trees that we were unable to retain for the project. So utilising those and creating the potential for their experience was really important. The internal spaces throughout the library had to cater for a really wide range of uses. So that's small groups and individuals, and the shared spaces were carefully considered. Some of these spaces you'll see, you might see me in some of those, or some people that look suspiciously like my colleagues posing for things.
Very well behaved.
Yes, we are. But then, you know, the Glenroy Festival, we have thousands of people moving through the building on a single day full of entertainers. This was one entertainer, and there were 3 others that were going at the same time. So it's a building that really needs to expand and contract and cater for a whole range of things that can happen in there, and it's amazing to see people within this space. We've been doing some post-occupancy evaluation currently, so we need to track the performance of the building from a quantitative point of view. What we're interested in engaging with is how people's experience, the reality of their experience versus what our vision was. And we're asking things about how does this building make you feel? A resounding common feedback we're getting is the calm, restorative nature of the space that we're creating. So it's fantastic to hear that. And I'll leave you with my favourite quote, which is from a resident who was saying, "My heart is open, I've lived here for 50 years, and this building's like a ray of sunshine. I feel like I've born here."